Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we are looking at the CURT Premium Bike Rack here on our 2016 Land Rover Discovery Sport. So the CURT Premium Bike Rack is an awesome bike rack when it comes to its ability to carry bikes of different shapes and different sizes. It has its unique design where it's wide towards the middle and then it's narrow towards the end, and that's going to be great for your children's bikes. So let's take a closer look at the way our bike is mounted to the bike rack. So you have 1, 2, 3 mounting points. So 2 here on the top and a 3rd strap down here at the bottom. It kind of works as our anti-sway cradle. So when you want to take that bike off, that's where you would start. You pull on that rubber strap and fit it through the tab. So 1 strap, 2 straps, and here's our 3rd strap. So when all 3 straps are released, you can then lift your bike up through the arms, and then after that, you're ready to go on a bike ride. And then with the bike out of the way, we get to take a closer look at the cradle themselves. So here we have our cradles, and notice how you can rotate them to accommodate different frames. So you can have it where it's on the long end for your frames or the short end, and you just have these straps that go around that frame and then secure them. So what I recommend doing is, even if you're not carrying any bikes around, please try to put those straps away. That way they're not flopping around as you're driving around, and you get to have, the full efficiency of the strap for a little bit longer. So notice how you have a rubber strap, and that has holes that fit around those tabs. There you go. There's our 3rd strap for our anti-sway. And it may take a little bit of muscle to put those straps around, but I kind of like it because then it is okay and it's secure and your frames are held to your cradles. And also notice how we have this design here. So we got our larger cradles out here, then we have our narrow ends. So if you do have 2 adult bikes and 2 children's bikes, it's going to work great with this. Compared to other hanging style racks where it's like a straight arm, sometimes it's really hard to maneuver those bikes' frames through those arms. This does have a weight capacity of about 45 pounds per bike. So for this as a total, it's 180 pound weight capacity. If you have the 5 bike version, it's going to be 225 in terms of weight capacity, which is actually a little bit more than your average hanging style rack. Let's take some measurements just to see exactly how much length is added to the back of our vehicle whenever we're going to carry this around. So we're going to measure from our rear bumper right over there, then all the way to the end of the bike rack. So we're going to have it at about 40 inches or 40 and a half, give or take. Now if you have the 5 bike version, that's going to be just a little bit extra. It's going to work the exact same way as our 4 bike version, but you're going to have a little bit more space for more bikes. Also note how you have nice reflectors. So these are plastic reflectors here at the end of the bike rack, and that's going to help keep you visible when you're on the road. Now another of its features is that you can tilt this bike rack away if you want to access your hatch. To do so, you go over here and you have this knob that you need to turn. Turn that knob because this is holding your mast in place. And then you're going to remove this pin and this clip. So pull that out. And your final step is to pull up on this lever, and this allows you to drop it down to a tilt. And you'll want to do this if you want to access your hatch. So as you can see here on our vehicle, with our door open, there's plenty of space between our door and our bike rack, allowing us to get into our trunk, maybe grab our bags, grab our water, grab our helmets, all without having to take our bike rack off. Please remember though that you do have to take your bikes off whenever you want to tilt it away. That's just going to be another extra step that you're going to have to think about when getting any hanging style rack. To put the bike rack back up, you just lift it up and then you put this pin into place. You may need to push that mast into position. Then you use this clip, and that's going to secure that pin. Just another level of security. Then you're going to tighten down this knob because that's preventing that mast from wiggling around. It's going to be a very important step. Please don't forget it. But once you have that secured, we got to take a look at another of its features, which is, let's say you want to drive around town, you're not planning on bringing your bikes out, but you also don't want to take your bike rack off, you can fold the arms down. To do so, you pull this clip, pull this pin, hold on to it so it doesn't swing backwards towards your vehicle, lower those arms, and put that pin and clip back into place. All right, there we go. So with that in place, big difference compared to when it was folded up. Let's take some measurements. So from our bumper, and now the furthest point of our bike rack is actually going to be at the end of our shank. So that's going to sit at 15.5 inches. Definitely a decrease of length added. You're definitely going to want it in this position when you're driving around town. Let's also look at our closest point. So that's going to be from our bumper to a bike rack. We're going to have 7 inches of clearance. That's also because the hitch receiver here on our Discovery Sport sits a bit further back out. Remember, whenever you're dealing with length of bike rack, that's something you have to remember when you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a tight spot, especially if you have the 5-bike version. That's going to be a lot of length. While we're here, we'll take a quick look at ground clearance. Underneath the shank to the ground, it's 16.75 inches of ground clearance. Whenever you go up steep inclines like driveways or hills, your front of your vehicle is going to go up and the back is going to go down. With a hanging style rack, it's not going to be as big of an issue with ground clearance, so that's always a plus on that area. Let's talk about how this fits into our hitch. This has a 2-inch solid shank that fits into our 2-inch hitch receiver here on our car. It also comes with an anti-rattle bolt and a clip. You do get a tool to tighten down the anti-rattle bolt, but I highly recommend picking up our 3/4 socket because that's going to make your life a lot easier because it's easier and faster to tighten that down. And that bolt is going to be very important because as you can see, as I shake our bike rack here, I'm mainly shaking the vehicle because that bolt is holding it in place. You're not getting extra rattle side to side, making for a smoother ride for your bikes. And if you do experience rattle, please double check the knob here in the back that's holding the mast up. All right, with it folded up, you can also notice this does come up a little bit into our rear window, but it's still completely visible. Our tail lights are completely visible. Our license plate is slightly covered, but not as much as a platform rack would. And your backup camera is offset to the right, completely bypassing our bike rack, meaning you have a more open view through your backup camera. So my final thoughts about the CURT Premium Bike Rack 4 and 5 bike version is I do like that design right over there. This makes it easier to carry your family's bikes because you have your adults' bikes and your children's bikes. So that was a look at the CURT Premium Bike Rack here on our 2016 Land Rover Discovery Sport.
Here it is on our test course. We'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Next, we're at the alternating speed bumps, which we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Finally, we have the full speed bumps, where we'll see the up and down action, which is just like driving out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway.